Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Fantastic Fermentations YouTube channel, your home for all things homebrew. I am Ricky, and today we are going to be doing part 2 of the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale clone recipe. We're going to go into the garage, pour up my homebrew, and taste it side by side with the real Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. See how I did. So hang in there and we will taste some beers. Before we jump into this tasting, if you like what you've seen so far on my channel, go down, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that bell so you're notified when we post new content. Also, if you like cloning recipes or cloning beers, hey, give us a thumbs up. Let us know that we're doing things that you like. And if you've got any ideas for clones that you want to see or that we can do, drop those in the comment, and we'll see if we can get them for you. Usually I would have a friend here, or I was going to try to have a friend here, a fellow brew buddy, to kind of go through and taste these beers with me, but this COVID-19 quarantine is in full swing, and as you can see, hair's getting kind of long and shaggy, and my beard is getting kind of scruffy. So I think a lot of people are in this same boat, being locked up at home. But hey, beer's got to be tasted, and here I am. Before I pour the actual Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, I'm gonna go ahead and pour one of mine off the keg so that we can kind of get a look at it, compare it before, just in case there's any head diminish or the look kind of changes on us. So we're gonna pour this one and then we'll review it first. So let's see here. Let's try to get a good pour here. A little foamy there. Drop that down. But yeah, color looks good. Nice frothy head on it. Smells like a pale ale. So I would say that color is, kind of like a straw-ish, well, a little bit deeper than that, kind of a honey or maybe like a orangish color. That's from that caramel 60 and that caramel 40 that's in the recipe. But the color looks good. Glass is kind of crazy at the bottom. Thought I got a good rinse on it, but maybe it didn't. So let's pour up the actual Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and let's get a look at it. Let's see what it looks like. All right, pretty close in color. I would say, of course, the Sierra Nevada is a little bit clearer than mine. I would imagine if I let mine sit a little longer, it would probably get clearer as well, but time will tell. I did run my beer through the bouncer. Whenever I come out of the fermentation chamber, I always give it a cold crash, and then from the cold crash I will then take it, run it through my bouncer fine screen, just to pick up any last hop particles or yeast particles from coming into the keg. So I do run it through that, but a lot of times it takes a little bit of sitting on the sitting in the fridge to drop everything out and get it really clear. I know the last beer I did, the Spring Forward Saison, it actually cleared up really nice. From the first pours it was kind of hazy, but then cleared right up. So let's get a side-by-side comparison on the aroma. Mine has, I can tell a little bit of a kind of a maltiness to it, a malty sweetness. Even though mine finished at a slightly lower gravity, this ended up finishing out at 10-10. I think theirs finishes out at about 10-13, so a little bit lower of a gravity, but I do get a little bit of maltiness, a little sweetness off of it. I do get a hop presence. It's not crazy. It's got some citrusy notes in it, but not like your piney or resiny. Okay, I get that same kind of slight malt sweetness here. Not a lot of hop aroma, but I do get a slight citrus fruitiness. So that's pretty close. That's pretty spot on. So let's taste them side by side and see what we got. So yeah, super clean beer, especially for one that kind of fermented a little bit higher than I usually do. I found that fermenting at 64 to 66 range gives you the cleanest fermentation, especially with American ale yeast. But this is really clean, even up at 70. It's nice and dry, not super dry, but dry for a pale ale. And I do get a little bit of bitterness, not overly bitter, but a nice kind of grapefruity, citrusy kind of feel in that bitterness. But super clean, super refreshing. Definitely a beer that I would drink like on a warm day. Just look at that lacing. How the head is just sticking to the glass. Really, really good head retention. Yeah, I enjoy that. That's really good. Now, let's taste it side by side with the real thing and see how it compares up. Pretty close. Pretty close. Same type of dryness to it. A little bit more. I get a little bit more sweetness in this, but not too much more. The bitterness is really the same with that nice citrusy, not kind of resiny, but like a citrusy pith bitterness. I'd say that's pretty spot on. Yeah, those two are that's pretty spot on. If I do say so myself, I do think mine is a bit brighter, and I don't know if it's because of maybe a higher carbonation or just because it's a little bit fresher, but mine's a little bit brighter. Still pretty close. I'd say if you were trying to recreate Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, then yeah, that recipe is spot on. They really gave you a good base to work off of. If you like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and you want to brew something that really reminds you a lot of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, if not the same thing, then hit my friends up at Atlantic Brew Supply. Check the comments down below and order that recipe. It's gonna give you something that's very similar. But one of the questions that I received a lot of after brewing this beer and releasing the video, and I also received this question a lot from working at Atlantic Brew Supply in the homebrew shop, is, why, do people brew these clone recipes? Why, kind of is everybody always searching or just up in arms to find a good clone recipe? And I think for a lot of people that is a different reason or a different answer. I know I have my reasons, but I know a lot of other people have reasons as well. I would say for me, it's always a good check on my processes. You can give somebody a recipe and their process could be flawed and they're not going to get good results. But if you take a known recipe of something that I can go to a bottle shop or a grocery store or a gas station and pick it up and then taste it side by side, then I really can nail down and I can see how good my process is when I'm brewing. So it's always a good check for me to check what I'm doing, checking my equipment. Are these clone recipes? Some people just like a flavor in a beer and they say, hey, I really love the taste of this beer, but I kind of want to add something to it. So they'll take these clone recipes to get close to that beer, and then they'll kind of build on top of it to make something that's their own. I've also met a lot of people who are just not in a region to get beers from somewhere else. So they'll say, hey, I'm not going to get a heady topper. It's going to be tough for me to do that. You know, I don't want to go into a forum and message people and try to get them this barter system where I ship them a beer, they ship me a beer, and it becomes this huge thing. So a lot of people will say, hey, does anybody have a good heady topper clone recipe? That way I can brew it myself and I can try it up. So there's a lot of different reasons that people will brew a clone recipe, but I think it's just fun. And a lot of people give breweries who give out their clone recipes a little kind of flack, but honestly, it's not going to take away from the sales of any of their beer. If anything, it makes you want to buy that beer even more. So I would say if you were wanting to dive into some clone recipes, there's a great book called 250 Clone Recipes. I know the Homebrew Association prints that out, and I know you can even you can get copies for download on their website, but that is an amazing kind of catalog for different brews that you can clone and copy. And a lot of times you can go to websites and people will give you the ingredients to their beer, and you can kind of figure out how to clone it yourself. So, hey, go down in the comments. What beer do you want to clone? Put it in the comments. Maybe I have a recipe. Maybe I have something that can get you close. Or maybe somebody else that watches this channel does, and they can get you halfway there. So, until next time, keep mashing.